Hello and welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. Yes, this episode is being dropped a day early. And the reason for that is because today I want to talk to you about preparation for Christmas. And there's kind of no point in posting it on Christmas Day because most of you will have been through Christmas already. So I may even post this 2 days early just to catch those of you that tend to do Christmas on Christmas Eve. I hope that you've got to this point in December in one piece. I hope that it has been a peace-filled Christmas season for you thus far. It's going to be a relatively quick episode today because all I want to do is talk to you about a few tips and tricks you can do to prepare for Christmas Day or prepare for family events or work events or somewhere where you're going that is going to be the hustle bustle of Christmas. Just prepare in advance a few things that can make life just a little bit simpler for you. The first thing I'm going to suggest is if you are taking food to someone's house, have a think about how easy it's going to be to transport it. I know that there are many sad faces on Christmas Day when you're trying to transport something and by the time you get to the venue, it's squished up against the cake box or it's gone cold and there's no easy way to reheat it, or it actually, people puts food out and it's like a grazing table, or it's a serve yourself buffet and the food that you've bought is going to go off in the hot sun very, very quickly and then it ends up being wasted and thrown out. Think prawns and cold meats and think things of like, how can I make this an easy thing so that it's, edible once you get to the house. So it might even be a matter of just getting some ice and putting some ice underneath the platter that you're taking to the venue and then just leaving it under there. It can be as simple as just getting a baking tray, putting a layer of ice and then putting your food on top. So have a think about how you're going to transport things. Sometimes you might just have to get a little bit creative in how to transport it. My sister Claire is quite good at using containers the opposite way to which you would expect them to be. So instead of like the base being the container part with the volume and then the lid on top, if she's got a cake or a slice or something like that, she'll actually put it on the lid. So turn the whole container upside down, use the lid as the base, and then the top kind of becomes like a cake holder. So you don't have to go out and buy some special cake holder if you've got a container that if you turn it upside down is a cake holder in and of itself. I'm just going to pepper you with these hot tips. I would suggest that if you are hosting a Christmas event, that you have a cardboard box available that becomes the recycling box. So when it does come to present time and there's lots of wrapping paper and card envelopes and packaging of presents that's flying around, even if you just drag that box into the middle of the room while gift giving is happening, then you are not going to be the person that is cleaning up an hour after everybody leaves, picking up all the recycling. So just having something like that easily accessible when it's full, you can just take it out for the recycling is a really hot tip. Another is if you're hosting and you've got somebody or a few people coming that are close with you, word them up beforehand and say, hey, would it be all right if I send you home with a bag of rubbish? I know that we're going to have a lot. My bins are not going to be able to have it all in and it's a lot of food and so we don't want it going off. And so then you don't have to do that on the day. You can just send a text beforehand and say, would it be okay if you do that? And then if you're hosting, you're kind of relieving yourself of some of that pressure of how do I get rid of the stinky pork rind and, prawn tails? How do you get rid of that? Easy. You've already recruited some help. Another hot tip is if you've got kids in particular, I was trying to work out whether it really is applicable for adults, but maybe it is. Use a washing basket or a flexi tub or some kind of container that you can identify to take your presents to whatever venue you're going to someone's house. Put all the presents in there that go to that house. That way you're not going to be accidentally leaving things under your tree if that's where you've been storing them. I have done this. I have gone to a family Christmas and left one solitary item under the tree with the family that we're seeing next time. And then I get to the event and I'm like, oh, that's a bit annoying. Now I've got one present that I can't hand out. So if you have them all in a washing basket, you like checking, yep, they're all there, and just put that straight in the boot of the car. What it does is it stops things rattling around in your car. It stops wrapping paper being ripped. It stops things being broken. And then it's really easy just to pick that up and carry it into the venue that you're going. And the beautiful thing is, as you receive gifts, as your children receive gifts, encourage them to place them in that basket. What I find, my kids are two of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nieces and nephews on my side of the family. And often, because they're all very similar ages, there'll be, two boys that are both 15 that both get a really similar present. And then you're constantly going, was yours the pink one? Was yours this one? And whose is this? And who gave who this? If you get into the habit of just popping it into your basket, it's much easier at the end of the day when everyone's tired and you're ready to go to just pick up the basket rather than having to go and go, oh, whose is this? And trying to nut it out and then inevitably leaving things at someone's house and then having to go and get them on Boxing Day because heaven forbid the children would have to wait. So that I find that to be just a really simple way of doing it. Let's think about making presents easy. I now am a gift bag person. I just find them so super convenient, but also great for the environment because we just reuse them over and over and over again. And so think about whether or not you can do gift bags, whether that is an option. And then if you find that the family that you're giving gift bags to look like they're going to throw them in the bin, just say, hey, do you mind if I take those back? I'll reuse them next year. And then just have somewhere simple in your home that you can reuse them. I would suggest that if you have young children, you might even like to pack a little snack box that might have a muesli bar, a piece of fruit, maybe it would have like a Vegemite sandwich or some really simple, easy things that aren't going to go off, that doesn't matter if they sit in the car or sit in a bag for a couple of hours. But I don't know how this happens because Christmas Day, there's always so much food. But when my kids were little, every single year on the way home, we would have Christmas lunch with my family, Christmas dinner with Cal's family. There would be food galore. And yet, as soon as we got in the car at like 10 o'clock at night to drive home, I'm hungry every single year. And at the start, I would get annoyed being like, dude, you've just been given more access to more food than is even imaginable. But the reality is they're so busy playing and catching up with cousins and doing all the fun things, they actually don't eat that much. And so by having a little snack box that you can have in the car works really, really well. And to be honest, I have been known to throw a protein bar in my handbag on Christmas Day as well, because I also am quite hungry by the time I get in the car. And the other tip is, if you've got children, throw their pajamas in the car, so that whenever you're leaving an event, even if you're leaving at 7 o'clock at night, they will have run ragged and probably been up since quite early. Throw the pajamas in the car. You might even put them at the bottom of that washing basket. And then as you're leaving, get the kids into their pajamas. So if they do fall asleep on the way home, they're easy to transfer. And if not, it's just a quick brush your teeth and climb into bed when you do get home. So that's just a couple of quick tips. I'm just thinking, are there any others that I find super, super helpful around Christmas? Oh, yes. Let me tell you one more. And it comes back to food prep. As you guys know, I'm a lazy girl when it comes to food. And my thing is, if you are, going to a few different events over Christmas and you're taking a plate, take the exact same plate of food to every single event that you go to if possible. Now, not literally the same plate of food because that's gross. But if you are taking sweets, I'm going to do Christmas truffles and I'm going to do that for every event I go to. The benefit of that is you can just have a whole lot of ingredients on hand and you can just make a batch. And it becomes really simple and easy to just execute and you know what you're doing. And you don't end up with a whole lot of random Christmas ingredients in your pantry in January that you're probably not going to use. I've also found this really helpful. One year I was on salads for a few different events and I just made this amazing salad that had like pomegranate seeds and feta and rocket and it was so good. I think it had pumpkin in it. And I made that for every event, so I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to go to the headspace of trying to decide what to cook and what to buy and what ingredients and would it taste good and what dressing. I just made one type over and over again, and I just found that it was a crowd pleaser. Everyone was happy, I was happy, and that worked really well for me. So if you have any type of preparation tips that you want to share, please come over to my Facebook community. You just search the Art of Decluttering community on Facebook. And I'd love you to share what they are because we don't come up with these ideas all on our own. We come up with them as we trial and error and learn from other people. And so that's my intention today, is that you will have picked up a few tips and tricks from me. And I hope that I can pick up some tips and tricks from you as well. Enjoy the next couple of days in the lead up to Christmas, and I will speak to you soon. And enjoy the freedom. Bye. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of the land this podcast is recorded on. I would also like to pay respects to their elders, both past and present, of the Kulin Nation, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love you to rate and review the show on your podcast app. That will help others to find the Art of Decluttering podcast as well. If you'd like any more information, you can visit theartofdecluttering.com.au, and I would love to see you in my Facebook group. Just search the Art of Decluttering community on Facebook and join today. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day and enjoy the freedom.